Swimmers also come to Ascension to breed. A female green turtle approaches the coast. She's not eaten once in 2 months. She may have travelled 1,000 miles from her feeding grounds, the greatest journey of her kind. Many others are here too, resting on the sandy sea floor, awaiting the darkness of night when it'll be safer to visit the beaches. Eggs that were laid a few weeks ago at the start of the season are beginning to hatch. Most hatchings happen at night. Now, in the light of day, the young are extremely vulnerable. They must get to the sea as soon as possible. But their trials have only just begun. Many will drown in the pounding waves. During the next 20 years, the vast majority will inevitably die. But those that survive will eventually, as their mothers did before them, return to the very same beach where they were hatched. How they find their way back across thousands of miles of open ocean, we still have no idea.
Well, that is what we're talking about today, the tortoise. It all started with the green sea tortoise. And one of the things, like I always say is like how, not always say, but I like to, talk about how I do a lot of research into, well, not a lot, but enough research into whatever I'm writing, whatever idea I'm coming up with. I like to invest time and effort into knowing more about it. And I remember when I was when I came up with the idea for the tortoise, I think it must have been about 3-4 years ago now. I had a dream. You probably hear me a lot of times on here. And many of the times I have the ideas I have are little snippets of dreams that I have had, or just moments before, or I've woken up or forced myself awake, and now I am basically I write them down. I'll quickly write down what I've dreamt, in a way to document it so I don't lose it, because a lot of times I might go back to sleep and totally forget a great dream I had that could be a really good story for film or comic book or short film. And so with the tortoise, it was just it was like a girl and her parents and on a beach, and I was looking through I was a little girl watching the world through her eyes and seeing these turtles rushing into the sea, as little baby things coming out of the eggs and rushing into the sea. And then the girl goes, "Hey, Dad, can I have one, please? I want one. Can I want one? And she goes, you're too young. You don't know how to look after them, and so on. And, maybe when you grow up and if you still like them, you'll have them. And so years later, right? Years later, with this child, right? She decides that she's still into it, and her dad gets her they go back and they get a turtle and they bring it back. And the reason she can get the turtle is because her dad's now works in Fiji, where this is kind of like her mum's from, and where the kind of story kind of has a background in. But like now, either I can't remember if it's either father or mother who works at a biology place, agrobiology, thing, science, bioscience, right? And they study turtles, they study fish, and all that stuff, just to make sure that everybody's like getting, the conservation is working, the ecosystem's working. And so the turtle, the girl goes back at 6 years old, and now she's got a turtle for life. As you know, they can live for 100 years. And so the story behind the turtle is from that. It's like how this child who, as a young girl wanted one, then later, 6 years later, she gets one, and now she looks after it. And then she goes herself into studying about the turtle, looking into bioscience, and going to university and studying. And then she comes across a book that talks about a legend, a myth, in the Plunge Universe is and Nathaniel. Yeah, tortas. Is that tortellini? I know tortellini. That's Italian, so that's pasta. You're thinking about tortillas, right? Tortas. So the story, then so she comes across a book, right? So she's studying all this stuff, so she comes across this book, and she finds that there's this legend in this place called Indosia, and in Indosia, hey bud, thank you for coming across. Indosia is the Plunge Universe's version of Indonesia. So they have their own little, island structure. They have their own people. And so she's learned about this guy who'd been to this island called and lived amongst the people called the Wabo. And they have the strange, mythology or historical thing that he's got snippets of, because these people are very guided people or guarded people, right? So they don't like to, don't want to sort of be part of the normal not Western, but modern society. So as this is, as she's reading this, doing her studies, she meets up with a teacher's assistant, a TA, right? Who's called Kirsten. So the girl's called Amber. The TA is called Kirsten. And so they hit it up. They go to movies. They go out for coffee and whatever. And then a little while later, Amber says, I've been studying into this thing, and my love for turtles, and there is Mano, I think that's what she calls them, and so with that, we find that like she's that she learns about this. Let me just bring this down here so you can see them. Yeah. So this is from the open, one of the opening pages. Well, not the opening page, like second page of the first issue, and you can pick this for $1 right now over at Rising Sun Comics, risingsunpublishing.com. I'll put the link up later. And so this is an earlier version of the script, of the comic book or the manga, where she's talking about how as a child she was wanting this turtle, and then now she's going to get one, and so you can see all these little turtles around and so on, and then her dad and stuff, and this is manga, so it's left to right. So you'll be basically you're reading from here to across to here, right, and so on, and basically up and down, and that's why it's on the right hand side. Yeah, on the right hand side. I'm like looking at myself, and it's like, wait, yeah. So looking at the screen, I should say. And let me see if I can bring this up. I think I'm not wide enough for you guys, so on the screen for you. So I will try to put myself away to the side, bring that back up, and you can see the work. And I will then disappear to the side a bit. There we go. And I will, of course, go in a bit more so we can zoom in here. Right. There we go. That's better. Right. So, she took it starts, this is like it's not like a full-on action adventure type thing. This is a slow, not slow, I should say. It's a gradual story that builds upon itself. You learn a lot about the cultures. You learn a lot about learn into about what makes Amber tick, right? This young girl who grows up to be a 20-year-old, her family life, Kirsten, she can have an attitude, she can be stroppy, but she's also very determined, right? So you can go here. My dad allowed me to have the turtle. I started studying up on the thing, so on. And this is just this is like a kind of almost like a review copy, because we got a whole new. We're doing a new art and everything with this, and so you get to see where we're going with the story, and how now she's grown up to like 20-year-old and so on, 20s, whatever, late teens, and now she's going to study and so on, and her relationships and stuff, and so she's she has she grows good what is it called? She becomes close to the only pet she has. She's very, it's like like when you have a dog or animals, it's like she's very affectionate, and it's like always talking, like you do, right? With animals. Like I had a cat for only a couple of weeks, and I was like talking to her all the time because she was like a stray. And so there's some really cool moments in this that I think it's really cool moments, because I wanted to really not only just have it like a a adventure story, kind of slice of life thing, which is what this is a bit. It's kind of like a supernatural slice of life situation, where it's not like, we're going on, going on this huge, we're going to tear down, all this. But there's just young girls just going about their life, and so on top of that, you get to learn a bit about turtles and stuff, and their life cycle, how they're raised, and because they just left on their own, right? Yo, you're out of the egg, now go. And so you kind of we kind of it's all when I was researching into this about this, because looking at the topic and so on, I was thinking like, how do I what do I don't know about turtles? And I learned so much about it coming out of this. It was like they're endangered, first of all, right? They're like, people are just basically eating them and stuff, and uh taking them for pets, but not looking after them, just shoving them into the wild. They even have their own predators already. The moment they're born, the moment they break out of the freaking shell, there's birds waiting to eat them up. So now then you got the humans and so on. So there's some really beautiful artwork in this review issue, right? But and so also there's links and stuff that are put in there so you can learn. Like I said, this is kind of like it's a slow burn conservation adventure slice of life, but there's a lot of pretty full-on stuff happens in it. But we kind of it is a different style of story compared to what I normally tell, right? Because I'm always trying to like do all this stuff. So I'm trying to, you know, with this one, we're building it up to deliver whatever we need to deliver in the story. So issue 1, you know, we're doing issue 1 now. We did half of issue 2, took a break, doing issue 1 now, so that then we can go into releasing it together, you know, proper time. So we got the review copy out if you want to check it out. But the other thing about this is that, you know, there is, you know, there's Kirsten here, sorry, Amber here hanging out and stuff. And I put a bit of, you know, lounge music, what to say. And I wanted to play around with it as well because this is Alice in Chains song. You know, just burning in the background. You know, just because I thought when I was looking at this image, I think there I was saying, you know, lying on the table, laid out on the table, you know, but I sit and think of something. So it's just, you know, adding sort of like what I love about, you know, things like I love music and I love art and I love writing, I love comics, manga. And so now you got like, this is Kirsten here, you know, she's kind of like, what is it, crushing on Amber. And so, you know, they meet, you know, she's a TA, as I mentioned, she meets up. And so you find that, you know, they go hang out and stuff and so on. I'm going to go, don't want to like give you too much here. So, you know, so movies and all that, and just their life, right? How they came to be together and so on. One of the other things here is that this is a mature comic, right? There's there are things coming up that were very mature, graphic, and you know, and so we are labeling this as a mature comic because I know later on in issue 3 and issue 2, it gets pretty hectic for the ladies. So the other part of this is that, you know, as part of our Plunge Universe, there is a religion that's part of that, which is called the Temple of the Polyhedron. Now, this is a centuries old, you know, millennia old religion as part of the Plunge Universe. It's its own thing. It's got nothing to do with our real world. It's its own fictional religion. And their religion has like medical wings, you know, parts of it. They're into science, they're into medical, they're into technology, you know, everything and thing into helping people. And so one of the things about helping people is that they go out like Habitat for Humanity and do good works. So forth, you know, to help, you know, build homes, infrastructure, whatever that's needed for people who need them, right? Who can't afford them. So, so during a school break, there is a 2-week holiday that the girls go on to, you know, spend a week helping out building one of the chief's homes. And then the next week they go off on their own little, you know, take a translator, and they go on their own search to find out about this tribe that I mentioned earlier, about how Amber had learned about from a guy who had written about and lived amongst those tribes. And he mentioned about turtles and their connection to the tortoise and their whole, you know, ancestors and stuff. So she goes out to try to find that out. And so, you know, it's, you know, they go off on the journey and so on and fly over there. So they spend some time, you know, kind of doing some work, you know, and meeting people, you know, like any other sort of like, you know, Habitat for Humanity, locals get involved, people who are from overseas get involved, who are part of, you know, some sort of organization get involved because they all want to kind of, I mean, they're there with the purpose to do good works, right? To do good things for other people. And so we've got that. And then, you know, of course, the girls then decide to grab an interpreter from the island and go off, you know, to find this this tribe called Wabo, WABO. Excuse me. Now, one of the things about so I was just looking at the boat and or the canoe, right? Is that the cover artist, who I think he's done about 4 covers. James Hill, whose comic is coming up in December that we're going to be released pretty soon, probably later on this year, because we got to get colored, and I got to finalize the lettering of the first issue of Templeton. He's the artist on that book, on that whole series, the 6 issues of that. So he's halfway through. I think about halfway or third of the way through issue 2. So we're able, I said, okay, by the time we get to putting issue 1 out, issue 2 will be ready for coloring. So so with this, so they go off, right, and so do a bit of shopping and whatnot, and Sumatra, Indonesia. So you got all these different, I learn a bit about the culture there as well. It's just, it's kind of like an overseas trip, but going to a tropical island place and having fun or what have you. Now I want to go back to the top and show you the cover. This is the cover drawn by that I commissioned from a local artist, young girl named Annalisa, so name's over here, Gabler, who's only 14. Oh, well, 2 years ago she was only 14. She's 16 now. Now, I was actually going to get her to work on the comic or actually color the comic for me, but then I realized that this is a mature comic, and then the dad said to me, "Oh, she's only 14, dude." I said, "Oh, thank you for letting me know. I would have just, oh, she's a great artist, let's go," and not really thought about it because she's very tall. She's taller than me, and I was like, okay. So yeah, I had a chat with, because I'd been dealing with a mom and then dad, and so I said, "Hey, look, I'd love for you to just do a cover for us there." So she did a mashup of a cover, and so I actually bought the cover, paid her for the cover and stuff about 2 years ago. It was early last year, I think. And I said, "Hey, look, we'll use it for for this one, and we'll put it out as a review, and then we'll with the other ones we'll have all these other covers as well, because we've got 4 issues coming out. But of course, we're going to turn it into a graphic, a manga-sized book, and so on, including a couple of pages of full color, but the rest will be just black and white. Now, the other thing we've been thinking about, like if we release a comic book, it would probably be worthwhile doing it as a color. But if we do it as, the manga will be a manga, right? Because I like the idea of having to actually do a full manga, right? To actually read from the back to the front, read from the right to the left, right? And so, this is the symbol that we use, or logo, I should say, that I use, right, for all our manga. So this is just our first one. So I'm looking at, working for longer and stuff to with Tomas, who's the artist on this, TC Rottier, and ask, get him to probably do more work with us and stuff. And I'm thinking of actually asking if he'll work on a what is that called? A light novel. Light novels basically, something like this, right? So you get a picture, and then you get then you get like a story, a page of text, and you get another page of text or so, and then you get another page of art. So I'm thinking of doing something like that and I've got a story in mind as well. I've got 10 pages of that story finished. Because I'm looking at doing it 100 page, so it's like another 50 pages of single page art, right? And so I'm thinking of, once I finished all of it, I'll get Tomas to work with me on that if he's interested, right? Because this is going to take at least another year and a half or more to finish this work, because we only up to about, I think I'm about halfway through, probably about a third of one issue. Oh no, probably almost complete one issue. And I'm talking about Tomas's artwork, which is this one here, his style. So this is one of the covers that we're going to be putting out. There's just like a, kind of like an interior art to show what's going to be coming up later as well. So this is Tomas's work here. And so everything's going to look, be in this style. And so what I wanted was this is from, later on. So I wanted to showcase Tomas's work early in issue 1 in the review, so that when people saw it, they wouldn't be like, "Oh, what is this? This is not what that was." because you know, I like to be, you know, honest with people when it comes to what we're doing. So I'm not going to take too much today on this, because with these ones I just want to spend half an hour and talk to you guys about that. But so these are, you know, this is like you know, the characters we've got here. There's Kirsten, you got Amber, then you got Anya, who's a female warrior, the chief's daughter, and then you got Taket, who's the village shaman. We see him later, you know, later on, and so on. And then you've got Chief Tabor there, and of course Taman, the guide. You know, and so, you know, kind of an intense situation here, and you know, baby screaming, you know, some stuff's going on, and then you've got Taman going, you know, this could be a bit of an issue. We better, you know, mellow this out, and then we go back to, you know, go into talking about Amber. You know, Amber's telling the story, and so, you know, you get to see a bit of Fiji, and you get to see a bit of New Zealand. You get to see a lot of Indonesia, or in this world, right? Indonesia. I want to see if I can bring up any art, or is it on the other side? Let me. So the books, this series is of 4 single issues, or 4 chapters. It's called The Tortoise. It's a supernatural kind of supernatural cross horror slice of life conservation story, right? Which is kind of not to, you know, think, but like it's just a good read. Again, not a good read. Like well, it is a good read. I think it's a good read. Otherwise, I wouldn't be working on it, right? It's you know, it's about a young couple on an overseas journey in search of a mystery, or a mythological. Yeah, a young, you know, it's kind of like an elevator pitch, right? A young female couple, right, on a overseas journey in search of a legend, right? And so, and the adventures they have along the way, kind of thing. Kind of sounds like, you know, I don't know, what was it called? I can't remember the word, but like, yeah, it's where's my covers? Let me. I want to show you guys these covers. It's one sec. I'll bring this up, and we'll finish with this, with the covers here. Yeah, so James Hill, like I you know, I love his work. It's just because and I always ask him like, hey man, can I, you know, can you do this cover for this or the cover for that? Because it's just love his work, you know. And so there is he's done 3 covers, and I have or the one that you saw as a page holder, you know, as a video holder. For this, it's I'm just doing the flats on it so I can show the colorist what the, you know, what the art, I mean, what the skin tones are. So this is the 3 of the covers we've got here. I'm going to bring that up in a sec. Yeah, it's going to be printed. We're going to go through Kickstarter again. We're going to go digital, then go to Kickstarter again, and it's going to be we'll keep the you know, keep it simple, keep the covers you know, amount of covers simple, and just do a what's it called? You know, do a book, and then 4 singles, and maybe 2 covers each, A and B covers, and nothing major, because I want to concentrate more on the. Where are you, buddy? Oh, there you are. No, that's not it. Come on, run. Hold on. Oh, I see. I slimmed you, so you don't like being slimmed. All right. I mean, lowered. So here we go. So this is, of course, the cover I was showing before. You know, and without the colors on it. I mean, the placeholder for the video, for the live stream. And so that's them there. So there's Anio, and some of the other warriors, and then you got Kirsten and you got Amber there, and this is the I think I'm not sure if that's a warrior or if that's chief. I'm sure it was one of the warriors. So the other cover is this one here. This is the other two are wraparounds, and I might actually just do one of them just like that, and then have one of the wraparounds. So we get about 4 covers out of it. But there's this one here. I did a bit of color flat colors on to show the art. So he did this last year, so that was pretty cool. I thought he had done them earlier, and then the last one, is this one here. This risque, full kind of like nude, sexy cover, and with a baby dog. And so, of course, we've got our friends who will be doing it. We've got Tomas who's going to be doing his own cover. So this is with my old promo name. The name I use when I'm like just doing for art. But like Levi Howarth was the original artist on the first issue, but he's not with us anymore. So not working with us anymore. I didn't say like he's not with us anymore, like he's passed away or something. So we've got Tomas has come on to do the entire book, and so there's some really cool artwork that we're going to get cut once it's colored. It's going to look great. Just can't wait. Like I said, I've done the flats, so the girls look the skin tones are different, and because like she's kind of light brown because she's got a mixture of Indian and European, and Kirsten's full European, so she's quite light and pale, and so on. And then of course you've got the you see it on their homepage. You've got the girls in their skin tones and stuff, and all the colors on the backgrounds and so on in the mountains. But yeah, this was going to be fun. I was like, okay, we're going to to show it, we'll have to break it out. But like, yeah, it's total. They're both nude, and hence why with this one here at the start, I had this let me show you. But yeah, definitely we're going to be sending this to print, and that's the whole aim about this, is that this comes out as a manga, little pocket-sized book, black and white with a couple pages in there for color, to show people what the main characters. The other thing about this is that I've had Tomas go in and do all the lead characters. It's like full body profile pages. There will be, we'll put out later as like cards or posters or something, like, or pinups in the book itself. But also just to show people when we put it in there, what they look like, what their clothing is, what the colors are. So when you read it like a normal, black and white manga, you already know what they look like and stuff and so on. So yeah, we put a lot of thought into this because, like I said, I wanted to make sure that this was 100% like a manga. That it read left, right to left, and back to front, and also just had it had everything that like that. One of the things about this is when you're so used to reading left to right, you're switching your brain around all the time, going, wait, I'm supposed to be reading over there. Oh yeah, this panel's supposed to start over that side, right, and end over here, sort of thing. So it's been fun. It's been great just learning new skills as well, because you're always challenged. I'm always challenging myself, learning how to work with a translator and stuff. So that's it for me today, guys. If you I was going to put out this link, and I nearly forgot. So this is a link if you want to check out. It's only 99 cents, right? So you can, from Rises and Comics, if you want to check it out and see if it's an interest to you. But do understand that, the artwork that you see on the first page, like the first story page, is, what you'll see in the entire book when we release it. This is just a preview of the story, just so that, we can give you something leading up to it, to get a bite-sized introduction to the characters, to the idea, get to the pacing of the story, and also to get a background into this world, because you know, later on we could, you know, we might end up basically expanding on it. But these girls do belong in the Plunge universe, and they're kind of like in the mature side, like normal human beings in the mature side of the world, right? Because we've got the other ones in the Plunge universe who are like supernatural beings who practice magic, who also are superheroes and vigilantes and so on, right? And so this is an overarching thing with the Plunge universe. So thank you for joining me, and thank you, Nathaniel. Really appreciate you hanging out, man. Yeah. Peace out, brother. Thank you. Catch you. Bye all. Be well wherever you are. Have a good week. Until next time. Catch you later. Ka kite anō.